buttercup, you're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall, won't stop till I get enough.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to be doing a deep dive today into kind of like the crazy world of politics and tech. And you know how those two can sometimes get a little too close for comfort?
Yeah.
Specifically, we're looking at Elon Musk and former President Trump.
Okay.
And there's this recent article in The Independent titled, "Trump declares Elon Musk is not going to be president amid ongoing taunts over who's really in charge."
Interesting.
And it's interesting because, you know, you've got some Democrats out there kind of poking fun at Trump, suggesting that really it's Musk who's calling the shots these days.
Oh, wow.
So that's what we're going to be looking at. What do you think about that? Is that even possible?
Well, you know, it's definitely a very interesting claim. And the article does point to a few times when Musk's influence seems to have like really made a difference, you know?
Yeah.
Like, for example, his tweets about that whole house spending bill thing. Remember that?
Yeah.
It wasn't just like online chatter or whatever. His words actually like threw a wrench into the whole thing and forced lawmakers to like scramble to make a new deal so they wouldn't end up with a government shutdown.
Yeah, and the article even quotes Representative Tony Gonzalez saying it like feels as if Musk is our prime minister.
Right.
So it seems like some people in Washington are actually taking this idea kind of seriously.
Yeah.
But why, though? Why would Elon Musk, a tech CEO, have so much power in the world of politics?
That's the big question, isn't it? And I think it kind of shows this bigger trend we're seeing. Like, tech billionaires are having more and more influence in politics. It's not just about donating to campaigns anymore.
Right.
These people, they have huge platforms and like tons of followers who really listen to them. And they can totally shape what the public thinks in ways that we couldn't even imagine just a few years ago.
That's true.
I mean, think about it. Musk's tweets directly affected a major piece of legislation.
Yeah.
That's some serious power.
Okay, so we've got Musk seemingly wielding all this influence. And then we have Trump, who, you know, is known for being pretty close with Musk, publicly saying that Musk won't be president because he wasn't born in this country.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of funny when you think about some of the conspiracy theories Trump himself has, you know, put out there.
Yeah, definitely ironic.
But what do you think his real motivation is here? Is he being serious, or is there something more strategic going on?
That's a really good question, and it's tough to say for sure. On the one hand, you know, Trump's known for being very blunt and often unpredictable.
Yeah.
So this could just be him brushing off the whole idea of Musk as a political rival.
Okay.
But then again, remember, Trump's whole brand is built on him being like the ultimate power player, you know? So publicly saying that Musk won't be president could be his way of showing everyone, especially in the Republican Party, that he's still the one in charge.
Right.
Like, it's almost a power move, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's like they're playing a game of chess and we're all just trying to figure out their next moves.
Exactly.
But here's something I found interesting. The article mentions Chris Christie, you know, a former Trump ally,
Right.
who predicts that Musk's influence with Trump will eventually fade.
Oh, God.
He says it's like a pattern in Trump's relationships.
That is fascinating.
Makes you wonder if this is a recurring theme in Trump's world.
Yeah.
Does he always end up distancing himself from people who get too close or who might threaten his power?
That's a great point. And it brings up a really important question about power dynamics in general.
Okay.
Are they always unstable? Is there always this struggle for control, even between people who are supposed to be allies?
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's definitely something to think about. It seems like these relationships are always changing.
Yeah.
And even someone as rich and influential as Elon Musk might not be immune to these shifts.
Exactly. And this whole dynamic isn't just limited to Trump and Musk. We're seeing these kinds of power struggles everywhere. Like in the tech world, the media, across the political landscape. The question is, what does this mean for the average person, for someone like you listening right now?
Yeah.
How do these power dynamics actually impact your life? I mean, think about it. Like, these power dynamics, these shifting alliances, they really influence the policies that shape our lives every day. For example, you know, Musk's opinions on things like government spending or how we should regulate AI.
Right.
Those could have a ripple effect on like the economy, job markets, even the technology we use all the time.
That's true. It's easy to get caught up in like the personalities and the drama.
Yeah.
But we got to remember that there are real world consequences to all of this.
For sure.
The article also mentioned how some Republicans are actually encouraging Musk to get even more involved in politics. Some even want him to like replace Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House.
Wow.
That's a pretty powerful position, right? I mean, it's
Wow.
basically third in line to the presidency.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The Speaker of the House is responsible for leading the House of Representatives and setting the legislative agenda.
Right.
And yeah, they're third in line for the presidency after the vice president.
Right.
So it's a very powerful position. The fact that some people are suggesting a tech billionaire who wasn't even born in the U.S. should have that job is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
It really shows you the power of Musk's brand and the influence he has over a certain group of people.
It's definitely eye-opening. It also highlights how divided the Republican Party is right now, don't you think?
Absolutely.
On one side, you have those who see Musk as like a potential savior, someone who can disrupt the system and shake things up.
Uh-huh.
And on the other side, you have those who are kind of worried about his influence and his unconventional ways of doing things.
Exactly. And this internal conflict within the GOP is just one example of how unpredictable the political landscape is these days.
Yeah.
It seems like traditional norms and expectations are breaking down, and it's anyone's guess what's going to happen next. It can be pretty overwhelming trying to make sense of it all.
Absolutely. There's so much information coming at us from all directions.
Right.
It's hard to know what to believe or who to trust.
That's where critical thinking comes in. It's more important than ever to question assumptions, consider multiple perspectives, and be skeptical of anyone who claims to have all the answers. You can't just take everything at face value.
Right.
You have to dig deeper, look at the evidence, and form your own informed opinions.
It's like that old saying, believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see.
Exactly. We're constantly bombarded with information from everywhere. Traditional media, social media politicians, influencers.
It's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's up to each of us to filter through it all, evaluate the sources, and decide what feels true to us.
It's a lot of responsibility. But I guess that's the challenge we all face in this age of information overload.
It is.
So getting back to Musk and Trump, what do you think this whole saga tells us about the nature of power?
I think it shows us that power is fluid and often unpredictable. Even someone as wealthy and influential as Elon Musk might not be able to hold on to his position of power forever.
Oh.
There are always other players, other forces at work that can shift the balance.
That's a humbling thought. It's like even if you're at the top of the game, things can change in an instant.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to be involved in the political process,
Yeah.
to hold our leaders accountable, and to never take our democracy for granted. Your voice matters, your vote matters, and your participation can make a real difference.
That's a great point. It's easy to feel powerless when you look at all of this.
Yeah.
But we can't forget that we do have a say in how things unfold. This whole conversation has really given me a lot to think about.
Yeah, it does feel like we're all kind of part of this big experiment, you know, watching these power dynamics play out in real time.
Right.
And just trying to make sense of it all as we go.
Yeah. It's a fascinating and complex story.
For sure.
And as you said, it's definitely not over. We started this deep dive talking about Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
But their whole dynamic really just scratches the surface.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what does this all mean for the future of power itself?
Exactly. Like, is this just a temporary thing, or are we witnessing like a fundamental shift in how power works? Especially with these tech giants becoming so influential.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone like Elon Musk with all his money and influence can't even hold on to power in a predictable way,
Right.
what does that say about the nature of power itself?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's one that people have been trying to figure out for centuries.
Yeah.
Is power just inherently unstable? Is it always shifting from one person or group to another?
And if so, how do we as individuals navigate this constantly changing landscape?
Right.
What can we learn from watching these power dynamics between people like Musk and Trump?
Well, I think one important takeaway is that we can't just sit back and watch. We need to be involved, informed, and willing to speak up for what we believe in.
Yeah.
Critical thinking is so crucial now more than ever. Don't just accept information without questioning it.
Right.
Think about your sources, consider different perspectives, and come to your own conclusions.
It's like we said earlier, we're bombarded with information from everywhere.
It's true.
It's up to each of us to filter through it all and figure out what's real, what matters, and how it connects to our own lives.
Absolutely. And remember, power isn't just about who's in office or who has the most money.
Okay.
It's also about ideas influence the ability to persuade and get people moving. You have more power than you think.
So to wrap things up, we've explored this crazy world of Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and the shifting tides of power. We've seen how Musk's actions, like those tweets about the spending bill, can have a real impact on policies and shake up the political landscape.
We've also looked at what might be behind Trump's reaction.
Yeah.
Is he really dismissing Musk's political ambitions, or is it all a strategy to keep his own influence?
And maybe most importantly, we've thought about the bigger picture of this whole dynamic, questioning the nature of power itself and how it works in today's world.
This deep dive has definitely raised more questions than it's answered.
For sure.
But that's what makes exploration so exciting.
Yeah.
It's about sparking your curiosity, encouraging critical thinking, and giving you the tools to keep exploring these ideas on your own.
So what do you think? Is Elon Musk a political force to be reckoned with? Is Donald Trump still pulling the strings? Is power as fleeting as it seems?
It's up to you to decide.
Keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep the conversation going.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till